One of the questions I get asked in my class is, what are the components of a good realist painting? And it's a great question. And I'm going to throw out what I think is important. Keep in mind that all this stuff I'm going to say it doesn't have the force of rules. I find anytime I bring up a rule, someone can show me at least 10 examples of where someone has broken it and made a wonderful painting. So I always used to teach in my still life painting classes 5 things: composition, drawing, value, color, and paint handling. I'm starting a painting here, and my initial goal with the composition was to make all the objects, or I should say all the shapes within the painting, different. A lot of people will talk about how you shouldn't you shouldn't place things in the center, you shouldn't have verticals close to the edge, you shouldn't have your focal point down here. But I can think of a number of paintings where people have done that and it's worked out great. So my thing is to have all the shapes be different. I think that makes for interest. I think the human eye likes that. I certainly like that. Drawing is the next concern. And I'm not the last word in draftsmanship, but I'm better than I used to be. And it's always a work in progress for me. But I like accuracy in drawing, and I've started very, very loose with this painting, and I'm going to refine the drawing as I continue through the painting, and that should always be an ongoing process through the painting. Working at home, there's a number of great ways to check your drawing. One of the best is take your painting into the bathroom, flip it around in front of the mirror, and if you have one of those "oh God" moments, you know your drawing is off. And there's always lots of little cues. Where do things line up vertically? Where do they line up horizontally? You can kind of use those like lines of longitude and latitude to find where things start and end. Value is probably the most misunderstood thing and the simplest thing I find, because I find I should qualify that. Value is overlooked oftentimes by painters, and value really works in service of color. And the thing that I've found for me, and I wish I said this myself, but I'm just going to steal it. Value does the heavy lifting, color takes all the credit. And value is how light or dark things are. And I've been told again and again and again, really doesn't matter what color you paint something as long as your value is right. And I just think that is just dead on advice. Particularly so many of the contemporary realist painters working today use very unnatural colors, to my eye, in their paintings, and they're beautiful because of that. And they have a disregard for the actual color that might be present in their model or photo reference. And they do wonderful things because of it. And a couple of people who come to mind for me, my friend John Wentz, who's a monster painter, my friend Camilla Grith, who works in Norway. Both of them have a very healthy disregard for what's actually going on with color, and they make beautiful paintings because of that. And I may have mispronounced Camilla's name, I hope not. That leaves last paint handling, and that's a very subjective thing because everyone handles paint differently. Students used to ask me a lot, how do I find my style? And I had this really terrible answer, especially for women. I would say, style's kind of like a stalker boyfriend, it's gonna find you. And I think the way to find your style is to paint more. You need to paint more. And if you're not painting enough, your style, that is to say, the life you breathe into the subject yourself, it will flee. And I have some experience with that recently from having worked another job and not painted enough. And it took me 8 months to get back what I'd lost in only 4. So there's a real trap there. If you're working, say, as a waitress or a waiter, God bless you, I get it, but don't stop painting. Do not stop painting, because your style will be the first thing to abandon you. That's all totally my opinion, by the way. Lots of food for argument there. Bombs away.